confidential. Ogokere said he had phone discussion with Ekpa. I think there's a conflicting issue there. Obviously, Ekpa was restricted from movement. Ekpa was restricted by Finlandia government from communicating with anybody. Both his phone is under seizure. He has no access to his social media, account. So he was restricted from talking to anybody, speaking from social media, making commentary as usual. And we've seen how the ex-wife actually, proved actually that Simon Ekpa, from his tone, Ekpa isn't a bad man. And Ekpa issue with the ex-wife wasn't that, let me say, a bad one that could, breach their, two of them communicating together. They still have, that rapport together, because from the angle where the ex-wife is speaking, Ekpa was just restricted to, from making comments. His phone is under restriction, that is seized. Or they just restricted him, not that they seized. There are right words to be used this time around. They didn't seize his phone, only that he should speak within the enclavement. It shouldn't be something that someone will say, I was in America, I discussed, phone discussion with Ekpa. No. The issue is that Ogokere said he had phone discussion with Ekpa. I think there's a conflicting issue there. Because as the government of Hollandia instructed him not to, at least, speak without Finland. It should be within Finland. The communication should be within Finland. It shouldn't be outside Finland. It should be within the area where he was kept or meant to stay. So Okere's statement that he called Simon Ekpa on phone, I think if true, if he's saying the truth, I think it's something that is based on opinion this time around, because I don't see it coming. Finland restricted him from communicating with anybody, especially someone whose phone is not, is not allowed to use his phone. He's not allowed to reach out people through his social media, account or handle. I don't think, I think it's beginning to look somehow. So his discussion with Simon Ekpa, I don't think many people will buy into it saying, okay, he's saying the truth, okay. I don't think many people will buy into that. So that's why I'm trying to use opinion. Because I'm somebody, I don't need to say what my fellow agitators are doing is bad, that they're not getting it right. No, they are. If actually Ekpa spoke with Oge, it means that maybe he did it. Because I know that if actually he did, Finland authority should have known that. And they should be the one that gave him that kind of chance to speak with somebody outside the facility where Ekpa is now. Because all I know is that is allowed to get access to his family. Maybe after that, he will go back to where the Finland authority, has kept or ordered for him to stay. But telephone discussion, communication with somebody outside the facility where Ekpa is, I think it's dicey. I think it's dicey to do that. Very, very dicey.
Okay, still on that note, I just want to finally ask. It's alleged that Donald Trump did not invite the Nigerian president for his inauguration. Meanwhile, he invited delegates for Biafra. What do you have to say about this?
He has set committee to make sure to work on, to facilitate the quickest release of Nnamdi Kanu. A committee like that has been set, has been in place right now in the US, in his cabinet. So they are working around the clock now to free him, even if Acer does not approve it. Then again, the invitation of a Biafran delegate has gone a long way to explain how far Biafra has gone over the years to make sure that Trump's second coming will actually be in our favor. El-Rufai is headache, typhoid fever in Kaduna State. Bache Ahmad, the media aide to Buhari, is making his trouble now. That Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist. That every IPOB member is a terrorist. That they should not release Nnamdi Kanu. That instead of releasing Nnamdi Kanu, they should allow Boko Haram. You see this kind of hatred. And they still believe that Allah is God and Muhammad is what? A peaceful prophet. And we are committing all manner of, hostilities against a tribe simply because they are Christians. I don't know whether you understand. So that's why Donald Trump could not invite anybody, any cleric from the north. Yes, to what? Grace his inaugural speech. He invited Kumuyi. He actually know that out of the pastors, large numbers of pastors we have in Nigeria, that Kumuyi is a nice man. He allowed Nathaniel, I think a gospel singer. He allowed Biafra delegates. In fact, Donald Trump's chief of staff, a woman, Susie Willis, is a Biafran lobbyist, good friend of Nnamdi Kanu. Then the Attorney General of Federation of USA today, a young man, what is that his name? Is a Biafran lobbyist, a good friend to Nnamdi Kanu, and many of them. In fact, United States has turned their back on Shua Arabs, Arab Maghreb called. These people are just from Sahel countries of this continent. They are from desert. You find out that people from southern Libya, southern Algeria, southern Morocco, Mali, Senegal, and Gambia are the ones that are constituting terrorism across Africa. And they are timely people. Trump doesn't want trouble. That's why he retracted from inviting anybody, both Sheikh and Sultana or Emir from the north. He doesn't want trouble.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ralph, for that. So, in conclusion, what are your few words of conclusion for us today?
In conclusion, we should allow peace to reign. And we are Biafra faithfuls. I'm a staunch follower of Nnamdi Kanu. And every Igbo man is. Because the name the man carved out as Biafra followers has actually made him a household name anywhere Igbos are. Because the meaning of indigenous people of Biafra is Igbo man. Anybody that is born anybody whose parents or ancestors are traced to southeastern Nigeria is an IPOB member. Of course, I want to shock you all that Rihanna is from Igbo land. Her mom told her that her father is from Igbo Nigeria, not Igbo Haiti, not Igbo Barbados or Belize. So Rihanna is an IPOB. Everybody that speaks Igbo, everybody that is traced his ancestry to Igbo land is an IPOB. So my stories tell means that we should stop troubling trouble. When trouble has not troubled us, Nnamdi Kanu is meant well for everybody. And unconditionally, Nigerian government should free Nnamdi Kanu. But IPOB agitation did not start in Nigeria. Now they started it over in the UK. And they were doing their agitation business in the United Kingdom peacefully, which was why Transparency International and other rating companies gave IPOB the most peaceful agitation in the world. They won it as an award, incentive by Guinness Book of Record, by Bloomberg, by Transparency International. IPOB agitation was going on and on in Europe, across the European member nations. IPOB agitation was going on in the Far East Asia, China, Japan, and so on and so forth. You have IPOB members in India, you have IPOB members in Kenya, across African countries. They have never been a violent group. There was never a time they were, growing violent. So, which is why when General Buhari led army of soldiers with armored tank into Ahiaruku community, I think, where Nnamdi Kanu comes from. They desecrated the compound, the palace of His Royal Highness as Israel, His Royal Highness Israel Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu's father was the king of his community. They desecrated the palace. The European Union were watching. They were the one that called Buhari to order that they could attest to what happened at Nnamdi Kanu's compound. Do you know what? They played the video. Because I told you that I have often told people that Nnamdi Kanu's compound was bugged with CCTV everywhere, and you don't see it. So they watch it. Nnamdi Kanu was like doing the commentary that Ekpa was doing in the past, commenting and showing the whole world, look at my dog, they have shot my dog, look at soldiers, look at dead bodies. They don't know that he was acting film. They thought that the man was just soliloquizing for nothing. Then actually, EU were busy watching what took part at Nnamdi Kanu's compound, which was why, after escape into Senegal, Kanu escaped by whiskers. They would have shot him. But it was Ikonso that defended Nnamdi Kanu. Ikonso and other Niger Delta boys, militants. And Nnamdi Kanu was escaped through Azimiri, from where he was, ferried to Senegal. Nnamdi Kanu did not follow road. It was through Earth Ocean there, our Biafran coastal line. So, what am I trying to say? The British, the Austria, what they call them, Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, all the European EU member countries, they watched what actually, by themselves, transpired on the palace of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's father. And it was from that trauma that Mazi Israel Kanu, His Royal Highness, took ill and he died. You don't desecrate the palace of a king in Igbo land. It is an abomination. It is out of that trauma that His Royal Highness Israel Kanu died. And until burial, after burying Nnamdi Kanu's father, federal government of Nigeria under Buhari could not apologize to that community, even to the family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's father died of trauma. It was Buhari administration that His Royal Highness Israel Kanu. They could not even apologize. They said he could not come. If he come, blah, blah, blah. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu attended the burial of his father. Every dignitary in Nigeria, they attended the burial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's father. Even he attended, they could not know. They could not see him. Because that was during Buhari regime. Buhari was out to kill Nnamdi Kanu, accusing him of jumping bail. Jumping bail? How could you roll army of soldiers to someone that is standing trial? You want to... He ran to defend himself. He ran to save himself. He ran to save his life. The soldiers were about to... So that's why he ran. And the European Union, so far, they watched the whole film that happened on Nnamdi Kanu's palace. That's why they came out en masse. There's nowhere in Europe IPOB was not approved to do their rally, because they are very, very peaceful people. That's why this time they supported referendum that was conducted in Finland. Though Tinubu went to France to truncate that referendum, that declaration, he could not stop there. He bribed France, and Macron called Finland so that the declaration of Biafra will not take place at Gensibila Square. You know what happened? Finland rejected it. They called by France and still allowed declaration to take place. So that's why you can see EU today. EU has approved Biafra now. They allowed Biafra, and today the referendum they are talking about has been conducted online and offline. millions of Igbos voted Biafra emancipation, sovereignty, successfully. So it is allowed to conduct referendum outside the troubled region or country. So it is done in various places. Biafra is not the first referendum that could hold outside the soil of that region. So if not conducted in Nigeria, referendum is possible in America. And as I'm talking to you now, White House has allowed Biafra. They have recognized Biafra. In the past, I think last year, Canada has recognized Biafra with documents. Israel has done so. It's documented. So what are we saying? Obviously, Tinubu was not invited because of their connection with the terrorism. Anything about terror in Africa is mass-minded by these Chua Arabs. In Nigeria here, everything that is happening now in the north, that bordering on insurgency, are the head. They are the champions. And they don't expect Trump to invite the north. The north are working hand in hand with Iran. Iran's hand is in Boko Haram. Iran has hand in banditry. Iran has hand in clear headers. And they are the ones sponsoring Boko Haram, Ansaru, ISWAP, and the Lukurawa terrorists. So these people are gaining from Iran, and you know that Iran is an enemy. Iran is, as a country, is an enemy of America. So whatever is happening in Nigeria here, America are having agents that are giving them information. CIA is all over the world. And the Office of America, this OGA, getting one Office of Global, getting one, it remain A. Office of Global Access, that is what it's called, OGA. America is having it all over the world. Whatever is happening in Nigeria now, America knows, because they have their agents all over the world. And this OGA representing America, give America that dynamism or impetus to go and act militarily in any part of the world. They will go military operation and successfully they will come back. They will go back to US. So these are people that are informers, updating America with everything that the North is doing. The North is bent on perpetrating acts of terrorism across Nigeria. The fact that is an Al-Qaeda prone region in Nigeria, America predicted it before 2015, that come what may, the North will fall before Al-Qaeda, ISWAP, that is ISIS, and the other terror group in the world. Is it not happening? We are having over how many platforms? Yes, terrorist platform performing in the North. All one interest, one ideology, on one belief. Why? What is that? Islamization. They are trying to annex the whole country under one language, under one religion, Islam. That's why bandits are busy killing, abducting. Boko Haram are busy performing an act of arsonism and terrorism across Northeast, core North, and Northwest. That's why you see the headers fighting communities in Benue State, communities in the whole Middle Belt states, in Christians, without any cogent reason. And that's why Trump, ended up last year, no, not last year even, 4 years ago, asking Buhari, why are you Christians? Why are the blacks Muslims? They are black brothers. Could you come out with cogent reasons? And when they had summit in New York, United Nations summit, Buhari was there. Other African countries were chatting with Trump. Trump said, no, I don't have business with a lifeless man, Nigerian lifeless president. That was what Trump called him. So Trump was following all that was happening when he was US president and the Buhari was American president. The Christians were busy dying. And now that he was not in power for 4 years, he was following up all that Buhari administration, the Christians that were being on daily basis in Nigeria. Do you know how many Christians are dying in their large number in the north? And Nigerian government is not doing anything because Nigerian government is 75%